Hi there and welcome to the Barbara Young channel. Today is my April update, my call it my project vlog update for the things I've been doing in April. Now for me, doing one or two things is quite a lot for me, so it's not going to be jam-packed, but we'll go over what I have actually got done. So well, let's start off with a quick sew. I did a quick sew 4158, which is a well, I call it a mix and match top. It's not really a mix and match, I don't know how you describe it, but anyway, it's a contrast top. That's the other word I was looking for. So the main thing with it is that it's different coloured panels that are cut on the bias, which makes it a little more difficult, and it is this one that I decided to do in pink and blue. Now this is a poly cotton, and I did do a mock-up for this, and then when I came to do the main thing I decided to do a couple of changes because I felt that it needed it. As you can see, it is definitely two-tone colours, blues and pink. Same on the back, different contrasting panels on there, so yeah, that was quite nice to make. Now when I did it, first of all, I found that the neckband was a bit difficult to get in. It seemed like it was just a bit too big, and then when I came to do it again on this one, you know what, it definitely seemed that way. I think that this section, this middle section of the neckband, to me just seems too wide. It's too much material in there, so I think I don't know, it's like it's wrong for that particular size. The other thing that I did is that when I did my mock-up, it was designed, and the top is designed to put over your head. Thank you. And you sort of just put it on, but I decided to put buttons on this one. I wanted it with buttons. I don't mind stuff that goes over your head. I mean, this goes over my head. No, it doesn't actually. It does, but it's got a zip on the back, so which has got its own problems. Trying to zip that up, but it's very, very comfortable. But this, I wanted buttons on the front, so I managed to work out how to put some buttons on the front. But from doing that, if I was to do it again, which I do intend to do it again, but from a material that's a bit heavier, maybe cotton lawn or cotton poplin or something to that type, but maybe with something that's the same pattern but slightly different colouring, so there isn't so much of a big contrast, but you do get some contrast in it. But then to work out how to make this this facing piece so it actually fits in correctly, rather than being added on at the end. But I do like the fact that it's got buttons on it. To me, that's brilliant. So that was my one thing that I made in April, my contrast top, which it's quite nice, quite lightweight, very much you could wear it on the beach almost, this sort of thing, couldn't you? Nice lightweight summery beach thing. Of which, moving on to my next item, which is actually a beach top. It's described, get me notes, it's the Simplicity 1133 tunic or beach wrap top. Now this was a nice and fairly simple make. Now which one is it? Which way up? Get it open. Right, here we go. This yellow top, and it's designed that it wraps round. It's all one piece. It's designed as one piece, so if I undo it, what you have is one pattern piece that you cut out on the fold, and then you open it out, and then basically you just put bias tape all the way round, and that's how it's designed. So you start, you've got a couple of darts, one big side dart there and a little dart on the front, and basically you start here and you go all the way round. This is the part that comes round the back and goes over the front all the way, and keeps going and keeps going and keeps going, and yeah, keeps going until you basically come round to the other side. Because it's identical, it's symmetrical, you end up with that. And what happens is you then take this piece, that's the front, and you take this piece from one side and you bring it round and over the shoulder and button up, and then the other one comes round from the other side. Let me just put that button up. Comes round from the other side, round the back, and then buttons up onto this side. And so it is basically a wrap tunic top, and it is quite nice. It's a nice design. Only I had one small problem with this top. When I measured it and then made it, I forgot to do something. That was add in the ease. So this top does fit, but it fits just a bit too snug. There's no real room in it at all, which is great. Yeah, if you want a close fitting wrap top, then that is exactly what you've got. So I decided to make it again, but this time with a degree of ease in there. So effectively this is exactly the same top, only it's a little bit bigger. Basically I went up 2 sizes from the pattern to make this, put some slightly different buttons on there, these nice shiny silvery ones, and this does fit a lot better. Again, it's exactly the same thing, wraps up exactly the same way. So now I've got 2 beach tops, but this one does fit much better. Now one of the things with this beach wrap top that you could do, let's get to my notes, if you wanted it really loose fitting, basically I suppose you could just make it larger, use one of the larger sizes, and then you've got lots of ease and room there. That, you know, if you wanted it as quite a loose thing, then you could. I mean, if you want it quite close fitting, then make it like I did, without any ease, only it's a bit too close fitting then. You do have to watch out for the amount of material you need, because that is a singular piece, a singular pattern piece that's cut out on the bias. Sorry, let me start again. It's a singular pattern piece that's cut out on the fold, but the other thing about it is that it said it's cut on the cross grain, so where you normally have the selvage folded over, you've actually got to turn the selvage the other way and cut on the cross grain. Suppose that's what the pattern says. I got away with it with the yellow, because that yellow was from basically a tablecloth that I'd found from a charity shop, call it thrift shopping, op shop, whatever you might want to, and it seemed like it's sort of a bit of a hard wearing sort of linen. Actually turned out it's not a linen, because I found the little tag, because I did cut it out. It's basically a poly cotton, 65% polyester, 35% cotton, but it feels quite nice. It's sort of quite hardish wearing, but feels that way to me. You know, it's a nice, it's no give in it at all, but it's a nice material, feels nice, as long as it covers you up. I mean, that's fine, and it does hopefully what it should do, which is used as a wrap top when you're sort of, as it were, on the beach, because it seems like, I mean, you could use it for swimming if you want, if you're like going out swimming somewhere and it's like an outdoor and just wanted a quick cover over, that would do brilliantly, I think. So that is really my 2 main things that I've made in April, because I made the contrast top and then I made the beach top twice, which was it was enjoyable to do. But there is a lot of bias taping goes on there. And on the second one, the first one that I made, this was bias tape that I bought. It's slightly darker yellow. You can see there's definitely a contrast there on the bias tape. Whereas with the second one, because I didn't have the bias tape, I had to make my own, which meant that it took me, oh, it's all twisted up, there we go, it took me a long time. You can see that's the same colour, it's the same material. I had to make my own, and that probably took me several hours, I suppose, to do on its own. And also when I did the first one, I actually sort of cheated. I didn't put the bias tape on properly. I just sort of folded it over, put the pins through and then did one single pass on the sewing machine, whereas when I did this one I actually sewed it up correctly. I pinned on the bias tape open, sewed it up, folded it over, and then did a second pass to fix it on from the other side. So this one did actually take a bit longer, but the experience I got from doing the first one meant that that actually went just as quickly. So yeah, that was quite interesting to do those two tops and to do, well, that one top twice, because it's a good learning experience. Moving on, the third thing that I did, well I say I did, it's basically quite a rework of a top, and I also call it a practice piece. So basically I had a top that had this blue top that was given to me from some clothing I was given, and it is now a sort of, well, I call it a camisole type top now, but it's that. It's not what I call brilliant fitting, because it just isn't. Don't know how to show this off. It's just not. See what I mean? It's and then on the back, because what it really was a top with, where is it? It was a top with this stuff on it, and this formed, oh, I can't even work it out now. This formed like the sleeves, a front part, this bit onto the front, this went across the back like a yoke, and then, you know, two sleeves, so that went on the top of the garment to make the sleeves and that. But it's I don't know, it's not very, I don't like this, not very keen on that at all. So I took that off, reshaped it a little bit, but the main thing for the practice with this was the fact that it's got loads of bias tape. Now I did make this as I was making the first beach top, so I could practice doing this bias taping on here and just see how it goes, and just thought, well, I'll see if I can rework this. Also, this material, I don't know, is it a viscose or something? It's not stretchy at all, but I've never worked with this type of material before, so I thought, well, I will give it a go, because I want to see how hard or easy it is to use this type of material and to do the bias binding and bias tape. Of course, this doesn't really fit particularly well. It's a reused top that I've sort of hashed another top out of, so it's not a brilliant fitting thing. Probably the sort of thing you just wear around at home, probably when it's really hot weather, because it is very lightweight and it'll doesn't cover your shoulders or your top a great deal, but probably brilliant for that sort of really hot sticky weather when you just want something really loose, when you're just lounging around at home and you just don't want anything to be clinging to you. That will probably work absolutely brilliantly. Well, that doesn't seem like a lot of stuff really, mainly because that is what I've done, but for me that's quite a lot. I've done a lot because I've learnt a lot, because the first top, the quick sew contrast top, I had to work out how to put in buttons on a top that they just shouldn't be there, so that was quite difficult to put that in, so that's a lot of experience. The beach top and the camisole top gave me a lot of understanding and experience on doing bias tape, which I haven't really done much before. I much prefer to do a facing piece. That's what I've got used to, but that was another experience and a lot of learning, so I really enjoyed learning those things from doing those tops. So everything that makes it easier and hopefully better when I do them again, then that's just that's brilliant. So everything that I need to do to be getting better at my sewing. And then coming up to the last thing really, I've acquired another machine. Now the one I've got at the moment is a Genome, and that's been my main thing for many years. I probably bought it at least 20 years ago, and even though I didn't use it all that much until more recently, it's a solid machine and it just keeps on going, even though I throw some really horrible things at it at times, and it really has not liked some of the stuff that I've done, but it's kept going and it's still in good condition and it still works nicely. But I've got another machine which is a Brother, the Brother Boutique, and it's got a lot more in the way of patterns on it, so like the zigzags and the sort of pattern overlock type patterns on there. It's not an overlocker, but it's got that sort of pattern style on there, so there's a lot more choices in there in the stitch patterns, and there's a couple of other little features in there that I just don't have on the Genome. So the Genome is a good solid everyday sort of get through the big long stuff, get through the big seams, and then for the things like the you're doing your seams, doing your hems and stuff, anything that's a little bit more tricky, it takes a little bit more time, might need to take a bit more care. So it's like with the bias taping, then the Boutique is absolutely brilliant for it. It seems to have worked quite fine. I mean, I've done a bit of practice work with it and seen how it's working, and yeah, I'm enjoying using it. I think what I'll do is I will be doing a video at some point on my sewing machines, so I probably might do maybe a comparison of the two, of what they give me in the way of abilities to things I can get done with the two machines. So look forward to doing that, to doing a bit of a comparison there, and showing off the machines that I have currently got, even though they're not new. They are older machines, but they're mine, and they're brilliant to use. So there you go, that's my April catch up. It is April, yeah, April catch up, and hopefully I'll be doing a lot more in May, because I've got several projects still to get on with. I mean, I've got a drawer full of patterns that I want to get done, so probably about a dozen I've got, but there's probably, I think it's 3 main ones that I want to be looking at next. So I'd see what I can get done in May, and some more practice pieces and practice things to get my experience and knowledge up, so I can get better at sewing when I do my projects. So there's still a lot to be done, still a lot to go, and yeah, looking forward to moving on and getting other stuff done. Well, thank you for joining me on this video. I look forward to joining you on my next video. Bye.
Yeah.